The Bah Ghoulie Show is brought to you by OTR Halloween Holidays.
And now, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Can the devil really take possession of the mind of man? Listen to Sold to Satan, starring Kermit Murdoch, and adapted especially for Suspense by Joseph Cochran from a short story by Jules Archer.
Just for the record, I'm not Frank Weinglass, president of the Figurette firm. And yet, I'm a significant part of him. I'm sure Frank's dimly conscious of me, for he wrote in his diary, I believe every man must carry a personal Satan caged deep within himself. A subtle, compelling force that suggests mad ideas, wrong ideas, irresistible ideas. That's Frank's estimate of me. On my own behalf, I'd say I'm keener than Frank in understanding what is inevitable and telling him so at once. And I do have my mischievous comic side, as Frank discovered that evening at the exclusive Hampton Club, where the members for the most part believe that silence is golden.
Confound it, man. Must you make so much noise with that ice?
Oh, sorry, Colonel Dover.
All right.
Frank wasn't a bit sorry, and I got the message. I waited and let Frank remind himself that Colonel Dover had the annoying habit of glaring over the top of his newspaper at anyone who made the slightest sound. At the right moment, I made my move. Frank, can you imagine what would happen to this sacred silence if we gave the Colonel the hot foot? Well, after the third scotch, Frank agreed it was a hilarious idea. He got up, walked over to the Colonel, and stopped, pretending to tie his shoe. He lit the match and got back to his chair. We waited.
Fire! Great Scott! My foot is on fire!
Colonel!
Blasted it! If I knew what bounder did that, I'd have him expelled. He would... Steward!
As I said, I grasped the inevitable, and what I suggested a few days later met with flat refusal, even to listen. But I knew he'd come round. Then, too, I had the lever to pry Frank away from his deepest fears and inhibitions and commit even murder. The lever was Diane Rodell, model for Figurette. She came into the office of Harry Feeney as Frank's partner one morning after they'd had a night on the town.
Hello, honey boy.
Oh, hello, Diane.
Feeling low, honey boy.
Don't call me that.
Why, honey boy, last night you
No,
said
I
that
mean around the office. Frank might hear you.
Even if I nestle up close and whisper it like this. Honey boy.
No matter what happened last night, these are business hours.
That's why I'm here.
Some other time, huh? I can't think. My head is...
But my bill collector, he's such a nasty man. And when I say some other time, he says, no, sister, right now or else. Harry, you don't want him to talk to me like that, now do you?
Oh. Well, here's $200. And for the love of Mike, don't...
Ah, thank you, honey boy. And from now on, this'll be my week's salary.
What do you mean? Your salary's $100 a week.
Oh, it was. Now it's 200. And I want a 10-year contract.
What? Now, see here, Diane, you can't put the bite on me. No, I absolutely no.
Don't get impulsive, honey boy, or I'll show these photographs to Mrs. Feeney.
Diane, this is blackmail.
Oh, Now, honey, boy, you know I'm the best model figurette ever had. I'm worth $200.
Yeah, sure. I know you're a good model, the best. But there's Frank. He's my
You
partner.
also have a partnership with Mrs. Feeney. Now, what's she going to say about these photographs?
All right. Give me the photos. Say nothing about this, and I'll adjust your salary. We'll call it a cost of living increase. And because you're so valuable to the firm, that is, you'll be sewed up with a long-term contract. How's that?
Why, honey boy, that's what I came to ask. I'm so glad you thought of it first.
Harry, are you bats? $200 a week.
And a 10-year contract.
But why? Has she got something on you?
Take a look at these photos. She hinted that Agnes might like to see them.
No doubt she would. Well, it's your funeral.
And then it's all right? We give her the 200?
You pay the extra 100. Firm isn't paying for your night clubbing with Diane, with pictures.
Yeah, all right, Frank. Don't get mad now.
Did you get the negatives?
Well, no. You see, Diane's got them in a vault. She says they're her contract insurance.
Harry, you're a fool. We didn't need your wife's money to expand the firm. I'd call the police, have her arrested for extortion.
The next time I whispered to Frank, that shocked look didn't come over his face, and he listened. For this time I was able to add, for Doug's sake, to the word murder. Douglas Wineglass was Frank's adopted son. The attachment was even stronger than I realized. Doug handled the firm's advertising. He was a shy boy, 24, who walked with a limp caused by a knee infection when he was a child. This morning he limped into Frank's office, and he was bustling with suppressed excitement.
Dad, I've got to talk to you.
Oh, come in, Doug, come in. Looks as if you had something on your mind.
Dad, you're going to become a father-in-law.
Son. Oh, that's fine. Really it is. Why, being a father-in-law is pretty close to being a grandfather. Now, who's going to make an honest man of you?
She's the girl who makes millions of women buy figurette undergarments.
Do you mean Diane Rodell?
Dad, I didn't expect that tone from you just because she's a model.
Doug, isn't it possible you've let yourself be carried away? I know how it is, a beautiful girl like Diane.
Don't say anything against her, Dad. She's the sweetest, most sincere, and modest girl I've ever known. I love her, and we're going to be married.
Doug, think this over. For a lot of reasons.
Give me one. Just one.
Well, all right. Ask yourself why Diane, with her looks and her glamour, wants to marry a kid like you who's lame in one leg.
I've heard enough, Dad. Nothing you can say will interest me. Not after that.
Oh, Doug, come back. I didn't mean it. Fine mess you got me into.
What's the trouble, Frank?
Doug just told me he's going to marry Diane.
Yes, I know.
Sweetest, most decent girl he ever knew.
Frank, you didn't tell him about...
No, because it wouldn't do any good. The only way I can convince him is with those photos. Let me have them.
I burned them.
Well, then you've got to tell Doug.
I can't. Diane's way ahead of you.
What do you mean?
She phoned and said if I ever told Doug anything to hurt her chances, she'd send the photos to my wife in the next mail. Frank, Agnes would throw me out. And if she did, I wouldn't have a dime.
What a partner you turned out to be.
Frank fought off my suggestion to murder Diane. He told himself he could buy her off. He called Diane and arranged to see her that night. Well, I didn't argue. I knew he had to try everything before the inevitable solution.
So nice of you to call, Mr. Wineglass. Do sit down.
You know why I'm here, so let's skip the preliminaries. Get down to the price.
What's your half of Figurette worth?
$60,000.
Let's not play foxy with each other. My source of information tells me it's worth $150,000. The same for Harry Feeney. Except his wife owns his shares.
Knowing you can't shake her down, you think you'll get it through Doug.
Oh, l'amour, l'amour. I just can't resist Doug. And vice versa. A grand passion like ours is worth $150,000. Well, good night, Daddy.
My boy thinks you're the most decent girl in the world.
How perfectly darling of him. You wouldn't ever tell him anything different. Now, would you, Mr. Wineglass?
All right, Frank. You've tried everything, but there's no other way. With careful planning, I think we can open Doug's eyes and work it so Harry Feeney would take the rap. He's around your neck. You despise him. You could kill two birds with one stone. What do you say, Frank? I kept him tossing all night with the details. The first step, of course, was to undo the harm with Doug. Well, that was taken care of first thing in the morning.
You wanted to see me? If it's about Diane, you may as well save your breath.
Doug, I'd appreciate it a lot if you'd forget what I said yesterday. I behaved like an old fool. I guess I was touchy about being left in the dark until it happened.
Oh, sure, Dad. I understand. I'd have told you sooner, only I wasn't sure she'd have me. To tell you the truth, I wasn't sure about my game leg either.
Well, I'm glad she didn't let that stand in the way. She's a wonderful girl. Now, do you think Diane could bear up if I sent you on a business trip?
Where do I go, and when'll I be back?
Oh, you'd leave in the morning for the National Convention of Garment Workers in San Francisco. You'd be gone about 10 days. Well, say, why don't you plan to take the 20th Century tomorrow and show Diane the town tonight?
Step number one was easy. Doug softened up and out of town for 10 days. Diane out of her apartment for the night. Step number two consists of your alibi, Frank. We'd better put it through a test run. And at the same time, set up the motive for the forthcoming trial of the People versus Harry Feeney, your partner. Everything hinged on the timing. So promptly at 9:02, we were at the Hampton Club. Colonel Dover's face was buried in the newspaper, as usual. At 9:15, he had turned page 1. Now, Frank, let him have it.
Blast it! Oh, sorry, Colonel. Very sorry.
Well, that's all right.
Perfect, Frank, oh boy. Perfect. 9:20, at my whisper, he rose, slipped out the French window and into the garden. It took 3 minutes to reach the Madison Arms, Diane's apartment house up the street from the club. Entering by way of the cellar, he climbed the 10 flights of stairs without meeting anyone and emerged at the corridor window. He had a bit of luck when he got out on the fire escape and found the window to Diane's room open an inch. 9:30, he was pecking out a note on Diane's typewriter. He finished the note, and at exactly 9:40, he left the apartment, hurried down the stairs, walked to the club, and entered by the same window. He sank into his chair. Colonel Dover had turned another page of the newspaper. Frank wanted to do it right away, but I made him wait a couple of minutes. Now.
Now, confound it, sir. Must you clear that infernal throat every 2 minutes?
Oh, sorry. Terribly sorry, Colonel.
Well, class of people,
The run-through was perfect. Frank was elated. I told him the plan was foolproof. Frank, the only thing that can trip you up is nerves. So now, relax, get some sleep. I reminded him to mail the letter he had typed on Diane's stationery. The reaction to that didn't take long.
Oh, Frank, listen, what am I going to do? Look at this letter I got this morning. What am I going to do?
Well, how do I know that you tell me what it's all about?
Well, here, read it.
Harry, honey boy. Honey boy, good gracious. I'm afraid the time has come. I need a little extra money. Let's make it $25,000. You can bring it to my apartment tonight at 9:45 sharp. Don't telephone any excuses, or I'll stroll down to the mailbox.
$25,000. She writes as if it were petty cash.
P.S. Bring it all in cash, please.
I can't raise $2,500, let alone what she's asking. Frank, you couldn't see your way clear to let me have it, huh? You'll get it back, every cent.
Sure. When Agnes dies.
I'll get her to sign over some of the stock to you. I'll convince her. Somehow.
All right. Stop sniveling. I'll give you the money. On one condition.
Oh, anything you say, Frank.
Just this. When you see Diane tonight, get those negatives. Slap her around if you have to, but get them. Understand?
Oh, sure. I'll get them even if I have to knock her out. Frank, old boy, you're a real friend. I'll never forget this. Never.
Hook, line, and sinker. Hello, Diane. Frank Wineglass.
Well, do you have to get a girl out of bed so early in the morning?
I'm calling for Harry. He's got to see you tonight about those negatives.
You can tell him.
Now, wait, Diane. He's prepared to pay for them. Oh. You can write your own ticket.
Well, that sounds interesting. Where's he getting the money?
Well, I'm letting him have some.
Oh?
And he made a killing at the track.
What time is he coming?
Between 9 and 10.
Will you tell Honey Boy I'll be waiting anxiously.
Frank was on edge, so I made him wait in the club a full 5 minutes more. He felt his pocket for the murder weapon, one of Harry's scarves taken from the office hall tree. According to schedule, it would be wrapped around Diane's beautiful neck at 9:37. Frank slipped out by way of the French window and made his way to Diane's apartment. No need to climb the steps this time. She was anxiously waiting for her honey boy.
Come right on. Oh, it's you. I thought Harry was coming.
Well, you know how Agnes is. He couldn't get away. So he sent me with the money.
How much? He told me I could name the price. Have you got it with you?
If you have the negatives.
I've got them. You see them when I get the money.
How much?
150 grand.
That's what I figured it'd be. It'll break Harry, but, that's his funeral. Sure you want to count it, but you'll find it's all there.
100, two. Oh, you big bum, there's nothing but blank paper here.
Frank found the negatives right next to her heart. He burned half of them, leaving enough to show who it was, picked up the fake money, made his way back to the club just as the colonel was turning the second page of the newspaper. Frank slipped into his chair and calmly waited for my signal.
Now, by the eternal, sir, this is too much. You, sir, if I hear one peep out of you again, I will... Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon, sir. One peep, sir, and I will complain to the steward, sir, and demand your expulsion.
I'm dreadfully sorry, Colonel. I promise you it won't happen again, sir.
Yes, well, see that it doesn't, sir.
Oh, by the way, Colonel.
Oh, what now?
May I ask a favor? My watch reads 9:20. It stopped. When I entered the club, it was 9:15.
Well, it is exactly 9:52. Now, sir, may I go back to my paper?
Thank you. 9:52.
only 3 minutes off schedule. We allowed a 5-minute margin for error. Not bad. Diane dead, Doug in San Francisco, and to make it perfect, Harry has promptly let himself in by the door that you left unlocked. He'll reel back and leave his fingerprints all over the place. He'll rush out without noticing the burnt negatives of the scarf, and he'll be frantic until he finds you.
Mr. Wineglass, telephone call for you. I'll plug it in.
Oh, thank you. Hello?
Frank, I've been trying to get you all evening. I'm in an awful mess. You've got to help me.
Oh, what's the matter? Didn't the meeting with Diane work out? Didn't you get the negatives?
Well, that's just it. I haven't been able to get away from Agnes.
What?
When I was finally able to sneak out to call Diane and tell her I was stuck, she didn't answer. Frank, get to her, find her, and explain. Tell her I'll get there, but it'll be after midnight.
I saw Frank go white. If Harry was home until after midnight, they couldn't pin the murder on him. I called on Frank to be calm, reminded him that if they couldn't pin it on Harry, they couldn't pin it on him either. Besides, the main purpose had been accomplished. Diane wouldn't marry Doug. I told him to go home, get some sleep. Early in the morning, he was wakened by the doorbell ringing. And when he opened the door, he saw an officer.
Sorry to disturb you, Mr. Wineglass, but they want to see you at the station.
Oh, what's the trouble?
Diane Rodell, a model in your employ, has been murdered.
Diane. Oh, I see. They want me to give any information I can. Do they suspect anyone?
Hate to be the one to tell you, but they're holding Douglas Wineglass.
Oh, that's impossible. He's in San Francisco.
He was to take a train, but stayed in the city until the last minute and decided to take a plane. He phoned the police from her apartment. We found him holding some burnt negatives. He didn't deny the murder. He just kept saying he didn't want to live any longer.
Get me down to the station as fast as you can. Well, I'll clear this up in no time.
All right, the car's waiting.
I whispered, Frank, don't be a fool. The boy doesn't mean that much to you. He didn't even hear me. Maybe I didn't know the real Frank Wineglass after all. Maybe Frank was willing to pay with his life just to prove me wrong for once. So long, Frank. I won't be taking this trip with you. You double-crossed me at the LARA'S.
Suspense. You have been listening to Sold to Satan, starring Kermit Murdoch, and adapted especially for Suspense by Joseph Cochran from a short story by Jules Archer. Suspense is produced and directed by Bruno Zerato, Jr., musical supervision by Ethel Huber. Heard in tonight's story were Elizabeth Lawrence as Diane Rodell, Robert Dryden as Harry Feeney, Ian Martin as Colonel Dover, Richard Holland as Douglas Wineglass, and Dick Hamilton as the police officer. Listen again next week when we return with The Juvenile Rebellion, written by Robert Senadella. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. CBS newsmen everywhere report in depth and detail on this station of the CBS radio network.
Hey everyone, Waddle from Watchwaddle here. Hope you're all enjoying today's radio show, and don't forget to check out some of Watchwaddle's tunes. So round, so firm, so fully packed with hits. Screwy Forest's Watchwaddle cartoons. Available on Channel Watchwaddle. The Bah Ghoulie Show is brought to you by OTR Halloween Holidays.
As Halloween approaches, you have to prepare yourself for what might happen. More orange sprinkles. It's It's a special time of year, and Dunkin' Donuts is dressing up their donuts for the occasion.
And here's the werewolf.
So come to Dunkin' Donuts and get into the spirit of Halloween.
We'd like some Halloween donuts, please.
Oh, of course.
The Price of Fear. Vincent Price presents Edward Woodward and Annette Crosby in To My Dear, Dear Saladin by William Ingram. Vincent Price.
Hello and welcome. Cats of the family Carnivora, the domestic variety. The ancient Egyptians worshipped them, the Chinese painted and wrote poems about them. In the Middle Ages, they were considered the familiars, the soulmates of witches and sorcerers. Tabbies, Persians, Siamese, Manx. Even the naming of them can usually be guaranteed to cause a feeling of either near worship or positive aversion. But take it from me, the pampered pet is still alive and well and living at... But you don't need me to tell you. I guarantee you won't have to look far. But what happens when the cat beloved outlives its master, mistress? What if instead of being put down, rehoused, arrangements have already been made to allow it to continue its reign in its own familiar surroundings? It can happen. In the story I'm about to tell you, it did. When her great-aunt Hester died, Emily wasn't at all surprised to come into her estate. Not only as nearest living relative, Emily had always been a firm favorite ever since childhood. As for her husband, Freddie, he, not to mention an ever-growing number of creditors, had positively grown to depend on the bequest. No, not even Aunt Hester's open hostility was going to keep him away from that will reading.
Yeah. Well, all in order.
Well, thank God for that.
Please, Freddie.
Oh, very much as expected. A few somewhat eccentric charities in which your great-aunt's preference for animal as opposed to human society comes well to the fore.
The more I see of people, the better I like my dog, eh?
Freddie.
Quite. However... To my much-beloved great-niece, Emily Louisa Stanhope, I do give and bequeath my home, Longbridge Manor, together with contents and the remainder of my estate, real and monetary, whatsoever.
Damn good. Congratulations, old girl.
But upon the following sole condition.
Uh-huh. Here we go. Might have known the old hag would have kept some trick up her sleeve. Stands to reason, doesn't it, eh? Not only right to the end, but beyond.
Freddie. I'm sorry, Mr. Forbes.
To my dear, dear Saladin.
I wish you wouldn't keep going on about it, dear.
All right, all right. Matter of fact, we came out of it bloody well.
We were all she had.
You were all she had. She hated my guts.
Oh, I'm sure she didn't.
Oh, come off it, love. I mean, it was mutual. Let's not spill any tears. You hear me down there, you old nutter? Mutual. Oh, come on, move over, you twit. But I mean, to try and push us off and saddle us with Saladin, a damn pussycat, I ask you, what a name to give a cross-eyed moggy. What was it that old codger read out for the rest of its natural life?
In the comfort of its present estate, in the style to which it is accustomed.
Ruddy cheek.
Doesn't seem much to ask.
Not to ask, dear. Demand. I mean, let's get the words right. Demand.
They were very close.
Oh, for God's sake, woman. I mean, how can you get close to a moggy? Will you move over? I mean, you do realise, of course, it as good as stops us putting the place on the market.
When do you think we should move in, then?
Sooner the better. At least it'll get those damn bailiffs off our backs. For God's sake, get out of the way!
Emily and Freddie made their move. And the first item from her dead mistress's bedroom window was Saladin. Saladin. But not the pampered Persian that Freddie had expected. Overweight from years of Aunt Hester's chockies, a silver bell on a ribbon around its fat feline neck. Oh, no. Saladin was sleek, alert, watchful. Resourceful, too, in its own right.
Freddie? Freddie?
Yeah?
Coffee.
Oh, well, great. Put it down anyway. There's a love. Right. Well, that should do it. Oh, is it sugared?
What? Oh, yes.
Oh, it's good. Oh, that's nice. Would you believe it? 12 tea chests of junk. We haven't even started on the downstairs yet.
If it's just junk, I can't see why you're bothering to crate it.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that some of it mightn't fetch a bob or two at some local auction. I mean, the magpies still exist.
Yes.
Oh, come on, and don't go all hearts and flowers on me, love. If you don't like the idea of it earning a few bob, I can always build a really great bonfire,
No.
But I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll split the proceeds, send a few bob to her favourite charity. What shall it be, cats and dogs, eh? Or a refuge for disgraced donkeys deep in deepest Devonshire? Eh?
She'd have liked that.
That's the ticket. Well, I mean, we can't spend the rest of our naturals as a couple of unpaid curators, can we now?
No, we can't.
Ah, of course we can't.
Well, can I do anything to help?
Yeah, well, let me see. Well, you could make a start on that cupboard, if you've got the stomach for it.
Oh, all right. Dear Aunt Hester. You're right, of course. She was the most dreadful hoarder.
Yeah, regular old magpie.
All intact. Things I'd long forgotten about. Like coming face to face with the whole of one's childhood again.
Well, I did warn you. You might not have the stomach for it.
No, I'm all right. Really, I am. Well, would you believe? There's a little lady I never thought I'd see again.
Well, now what? That's pretty.
Our dancing ballerina. We're privileged.
Huh?
Oh, a special treat. She only ever came out on high days and holidays, birthdays, Christmas, you know the kind of thing.
First curtsy you bobbed without falling flat on your backside, eh?
Something like that.
Nice. Yes. Very nice. It's not your Faberge, of course. Oh, one of the poor thing's hands has gone for a Burton. Still, it's very definitely curiosity value.
Oh, no, Freddie, no. Anything you like, but please...
All right. I mean, if it's that important, here. There's no need to blow your top about it.
No, it's silly, I know, but thanks.
Well, except you're not really thanking me at all, are you, eh? Come on, out with it.
I do not
Oh, no, but I do that. I do, too damn true I do. You've had that keeper of the holy relics expression on your face ever since you set foot through the hallowed portal, so why don't you admit it? Look, all you've got to do is give me the nod. I can have that lot uncrated back exactly where we found them. I mean, it'd be just like we've never been here. I mean, is that what you want? Is that what you want?
You want an honest answer?
Yes.
I honestly don't know what I want, Freddie, and that's a fact.
Oh, I see. Oh, my God. How the old girl would have loved that, eh? Oh, she's probably up there now, rubbing her hands with anticipation.
I can't see why she should be.
Well, it's the thin end of the wedge, isn't it? Seeds of discontent, and all of her planting. Well, I mean, just look at us. We're not inside the place a couple of days, at each other's throats like a couple of banshees.
Oh, it's a slight exaggeration.
Mind you, I mean, I don't know why it should surprise me. Do you remember the first time you brought me round to meet the great Aunt Hester? Me and me 50 bob off the peg suit. You know, Sunday tea, wasn't it? Silver tea service, lace doilies, paper-thin china, bread and butter to match. An atmosphere you could cut with your silver cake knife. My God, talk about prejudgment. She'd made her mind up about me even before the taxi swung into the drive.
She was old, set in her ways.
And determined to stay that way, no matter what it cost. Mind you got the worst of it, hovering between us, keeping up the small talk, as though you actually believed any of it was going to make the slightest bit of difference.
Oh, I thought it might, at the time.
Well, it didn't then, and it isn't now. I mean, thanks to her, we're back there again, aren't we? Right back. Choosing time all over again, is it?
You know that isn't true.
But do I, though?
Because she's dead and gone, and you're here. I don't really have any choice, do I, Freddie?
No, you poor old thing, I'm afraid you do not. Come on, because if we'll never get through, right?
What next, then?
Well, can you hold these steps for me?
Okay.
Okay? Right, here we go. Oh, yeah.
A portrait?
Oh, no, I mean, it's all right. I mean, just somewhere less conspicuous, you know. Well, come on, it is to be our damn bedroom now, you know. I honestly don't think that either of us could stand Aunt Hester staring down at us every time we made for the matrimonial couch, eh?
I don't suppose we could.
No. All right, you got it?
Yes, up you go.
No. Oh, Dad, look, pass me the screwdriver, will you?
No. Here.
Thank you. Right, this should do it. Oh, come on. What the hell was that?
Saladin.
That bloody cat. I thought I said that cat was never to...
No. Not in the room. On the lawn. Quite still. Just looking up. As though... How strange. The minute you touched that portrait.
Saladin's fall from grace and ultimate exile did not happen overnight. As with all of Freddie's maneuverings, a certain subtlety, not to mention a fine sense of cruelty, seemed to be the order of the day. Even to Emily, the cat's original banishment from the bedroom, from the very foot of the bed it had shared over so many years, seemed not only reasonable, but desirable. Aunt Hester's absolute attachment to her beloved Saladin was not something she felt obliged to keep up. But exile from the bedroom was only the beginning. Soon the whole of the upper floor was declared out of bounds. The reception rooms came next. Drawing room, dining room, library. Even its favorite conservatory, all denied. As for Saladin, the fall from grace seemed incomprehensible. Its world was coming to an end.
Emily. Emily! Your coffee's getting cold.
Yes, all right.
Well, for God's sake, you've been standing at that window for ages. What the hell are you looking at?
Poor old Saladin. He's been sitting there, waiting to be let in ever since I first drew the curtains.
Yeah, well, poor old Saladin can just go on waiting.
Freddie, could I just...
No, for the umpteenth time, no. A cat in the kitchen, it is just not damned hygienic.
Well, I suppose it just got used to it.
Well, then it can get unused to it.
But...
No buts. Besides... You seen the state that thing's let itself get into?
It's not altogether his fault.
Oh? And who else's fault is it, I should like to know? Eh?
It was.
Yeah, well, come on, let's be having it then.
It was one of the conditions, Freddie, for our being here at all. The only one, really.
Oh, I see. We're back to that again, are we? On my estate. That's what the old battle axe dictated.
Well, then...
Not in the bedroom, not in the kitchen, not even in that box you managed to smuggle into the old wash house. On the estate, and that's all it said. Right?
Freddie, please.
The grounds are all part of the estate, my love. A bush to sleep under, regular diet of field mice. If it hasn't altogether lost the skill, he'll survive. Anyway, even if it doesn't...
No, Freddie.
No, I know. No, it doesn't bear thinking about, does it? But even if it doesn't survive, well, Auntie Hester is up there already, remember? all ready to welcome her poor little precious to her eternal cat's cradle in the sky. Get on with your coffee.
Saladin's inevitable and seemingly final departure occurred some 2 weeks later. Optimistically, Emily continued to leave her tidbits outside the kitchen door, but they remained untouched. Freddie secretly congratulated himself that the dratted animal had got the message. Eventually, even Emily was forced to accept that the chance of Saladin's ever returning was as remote as it was forlorn.
Not even in the grounds anymore.
Sorry, what?
Saladin. He seems to have disappeared.
Oh, so I noticed. Typical, isn't it? Such base ingratitude, eh?
What do you mean?
Well, such tempting morsels you've been smuggling out to it, too. Oh, what pusscat could resist them?
Freddie, there's scraps I've been putting out. You wouldn't deliberately...
Doctor them with something nasty from the woodshed, drop of arsenic in its steak tartare, spot of paraquat in its poisson au gratin, eh? Perish the thought. Oh, come on, really? I mean it, perish the thought.
You do promise me?
I don't have to, do I?
Oh, dear.
Oh, God, now what?
Oh, it's from... Oh, well, I suppose I've always thought of her as a distant cousin of mine.
Yeah, what is it, another of the beg-or-borrow brigade?
No, she's been very ill, out of hospital now, but was wondering if I'd care to visit her for a few days.
Please bring your scrubbing brush and act dog's body for a week or so. Tear it up, to hell with her.
I'd like to go, Freddie.
Oh, come off it.
I'd like to go.
You'd like to? You'd like to go? And while you're on this errand of mercy, how the hell do you expect me to manage, eh?
Well, it'll just be for a few days.
Oh, no. No, don't bother. Don't you bother.
Just for a few days.
Emily really needn't have worried on his behalf. Now, how did the old saying go? When the cat's away? And he'd laughed openly and loud at the aptness of his choice.
2007, 2008, 9, £3,000, as per agreement.
Well, plus a percentage of anything over the odds in due course.
Oh, yeah. In due course, Freddie, in due course.
Just jogging the memory, old man.
Yeah.
They were pleased with that first consignment.
Oh, prime, Freddie, prime.
Well, they should be, old mate. Nothing of the best for dear Aunt Hester. Been in the family for generations, don't you know? She's probably got the crown jewels and the Ark of the Covenant stashed away in one of those damned attics of hers.
Huh?
All in good time, Smiley, mate, all in good time.
Well, as much as you can let him have, was what the man said.
Oh, well, I'm more than happy to drink to that. Cheers. Well, come on, get it down, you then.
Well, it's just that it is getting a bit on the late side.
Oh, for God's sake, man.
Yeah.
You've had one eye on that damn front door ever since you set foot inside of the thing.
Whoa. Well, it was you I was thinking of, old mate.
Me?
Yeah, well, not that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting your better half, but...
Oh, no, the hell with my better half. I'll tell you something, old son. Because I tell the trouble with my better half is that she's so top drawer she doesn't even realise when she's had the furniture cut out from under her. You know, when I met her, impoverished but genteel.
Oh, yeah.
You take it from me, they're the worst type. They can't afford what they think they're entitled to, and they won't put up with what they've got. I mean, God knows how she'd manage if she didn't have enough ready to set the pace.
Oh, and you can certainly set the pace, my old mate.
I tell you, old son, if it had not been for me, she'd have taken after her dear dead auntie. She'd have put down dust sheets, locked herself away up there in the attics, existed on a diet of baked beans on toast and cold cocoa.
Yeah. Well, I ought to be making a move now, Freddie.
You do no such thing. You will sit down. Just sit down. I mean, I invited you here, didn't I? You are my guest. I mean, if her bloody cousin is so important to her that she's got to drop everything and tear off the minute a damn summons drops on the doormat, so what does she expect me to do, eh? I mean, just sit here playing patience, twiddling me thumbs.
Yeah, you got a point there, Freddie.
Too right, I got a point. Oh, I mean, she would like that, Smiley. She'd like that. I mean, she'd like to think that I was here on my own, Leo, pining away in solitary, counting the hours to her blessed return. Yeah, my God, that's dead on cue. Have you noticed, ever since you've been here, that damn phone's never stopped ringing? Ring, ring.
I couldn't help wondering.
It's only her, mate. It is only her. It's a stop check, old mate, yeah. I mean, can't you just hear her telling that milksop cousin of hers, I'll just give the old scoundrel a ring and check what he's been up to, eh? Ring, damn you, go on, ring. The trick is, Smiley, is to keep them guessing.
Yeah. Must get a bit wearing, though.
Oh, too bloody true. If it weren't for the fact...
Yeah?
Well, I mean, it's not forever, is it? I mean, nothing goes on forever.
Here,
no,
Freddie.
No, not the way you're thinking, old man. I mean, nothing that's crude, nothing brutal. She's got no staying power, do you see? First thing I noticed about her, along with her very definite worldly prospects, of course, oh, the old auntie, she knew that too. Now, you see, I have got staying power. And the old lady, she recognised it, Emmy. I mean, that's what we had in common. Still, I mean, as the good book says, everything comes to him who waits, but the Lord helps them who helps themselves, eh?
Yeah. Look, I've really got to go now, Freddie.
Yeah, well, all right, old son. Knock the lights off as you leave, Smiley. Oh, matey. Oh, yeah.
Freddie had no idea how long he'd slept. Minutes, hours, it was of no importance. For the present, he was content to lie there. When he finally took in his surroundings, it was to note that Smiley had obviously taken him at his word and found his own way out. A dim light from the hall slanted through the half-open door. It all seemed ordinary enough, and yet... But nothing he could put a name to. An awareness. Even in the first moments between sleeping and waking, an awareness of having been disturbed. Not by someone, something. Nothing is obvious. Nothing is positive. More like something within himself, part of a dream. And then he heard it. Far off, and yet omnipresent. Not to be denied.
Who's there? You playing games with me, Smiley? Who the hell's there? It's a cellar. Oh, God. Coming from the cellar. Damn cellar. Who's there? Now, come on, who's down there? Light switch. Oh, what the hell's that light switch? Damn fuses again. Candle. Start with the candle. Where's the matches? Some. That's better. Much better. Who's there? Who's down there? Saladin? Saladin?
Saladin, yes. But hardly recognizable in the flickering candlelight. A shadow of a cat, scrawny, fur-matted, nothing of its former self. Only the eyes were the same. Watchful, opaque, unflinching. And Freddie was held by those eyes. Until the cat leapt.
My back.
The dark, only the dark. until the moon chinks through the slats of the cellar grill. A pale moon, but slanting directly, almost magically, into the furthest corner of the cellar, onto the discarded portrait of Great-Aunt Hester, hardly recognizable now. The once haughty features distorted by worm, mildew, damp. And yet...
Her eyes. Still there. Oh, God. Jesus. Those green eyes. Just like...
Freddie recognized them for what they were. The eyes were the eyes of Saladin, watching him from beside the portrait of its dead mistress. And then closer, ever closer, until... Months of deprivation had added hunger to the need for vengeance. Oh, there was much to savor, to explore, until finally it was done.
It's my fault. I blame myself.
Really, Mum? Now, why should you do that?
I should have guessed something was the matter, Inspector.
Oh?
I'd been away, the best part of a week, nursing a distant cousin. He didn't want me to go, but anyway, I've been ringing here every day, sometimes several times a day.
No reply?
I even had them check the line. I should have realized then there must be something. I should have realized.
Before you rang us, did you inquire at his place of work?
He doesn't have any.
Oh? Private means, then?
You could say that.
I see. Friends?
I'm sorry?
A particular friend?
No. No one that could possibly concern you.
You can be that positive?
As anyone can be. This place, you see, it's mine. All of it's mine. Freddie enjoyed his comforts. There was too much to lose. It became an understanding between us, if nothing else.
I see.
Do you? And yet, not true. Understanding demands some kind of give and take, doesn't it? With Freddie, why, it always seemed to be one way. Not his fault, and I didn't mind. It was always that way, right from the start. In a perverse way, I suppose I must have got some masochistic pleasure out of it.
Was always that way?
I'm sorry?
You said was always that way.
Oh, did I? Yes, I did, didn't I? So I did.
I'd better start by checking the house.
But I already have done.
Oh, just to be sure. Oh! And who have we here, eh? Oh, pussycat. Who's a pretty pussy then, eh?
They did find him, of course, in time. It wasn't a pretty thing they found. They decided his broken back and long exposure had caused his death. They blamed what was left of the poor fellow on the rats. Then they sealed his coffin to save Emily any further distress. Strangely enough, Emily was over her sudden tragic bereavement even sooner than she'd thought possible. In the few brief moments she ever gave Freddie a thought, she found a strange solace in her great-aunt Hester's portrait, miraculously restored, hanging exactly where it had always hung. But even more particularly, she found comfort in her cat, in the gentle, oh so comforting purr of her sleek, fat cat, Saladin. Dear, dear Saladin.
That was To My Dear, Dear Saladin, starring Edward Woodward as Freddie and Annette Crosby, Emily. With Steve Hodson, Smiley and the police inspector, and Louis Stringer, the solicitor. The Price of Fear was presented by Vincent Price, written by William Ingram, and directed by John Dias.
Look out, because this Halloween, Toys R Us is your Halloween headquarters. You'll find every trick or treat under the moon. A monstrous selection of costumes and a dungeon full of decorations. At prices so low, you'll howl. So this Halloween, bring the entire family to Toys R Us for a Halloween selection so huge. It's scary.
No, stay where you are. Do not break the stillness of this moment, for this is a time of mystery, a time when imagination is free and moves forward swiftly, silently. This is the haunting hour. The Catman. Sawdust and spangles, balloons and barkers, lemonade and laughter. That's the carnival to most people. But beneath the hoopla and ballyhoo, sometimes there lies a sinister strain. A force as elemental as the strength and cunning animal trainers pit against the jungle beast they subject to their will. Catmen, as the trainers of lions and tigers are called, follow the code of the jungle. When they match their skill against fang and claw in the cages, or against human enemies outside them, they neither ask nor give quarter. That is their creed, the law by which they live and sometimes die. Here is a cage. In it, a huge tiger is pacing back and forth. There is deadly, killing power in the supple ripple of its muscles under the tawny skin with its black stripes. Killing power in the sheathed claws, in the wickedly gleaming teeth. Before the cage stands a man. His eyes are dull. His body is hunched. He is Brit, a catman, but on his cheeks are livid marks of deep scratches. On his shoulder crouches an ordinary alley cat.
There he is, Imp. That's Satan the tiger that put me in the hospital. Remember the hospital, Imp? Mom came halfway across the country to see me. Gee, I remember when she came into the room. She looked at me like she used to when I was a kid, and she said, "My little boy's been hurt." Now, she wasn't worried because I couldn't take care of her and send her money for food and rent. No, she was worried because the little boy was hurt. When I got better, she gave me you. A cat man ought to have a cat, she said. Yeah, then I made her go back home, and I returned to the show. So here I am, a handyman. I clean out the cages and sweep up. Me, Britt, who used to tame the wildest cats. But it's a good thing Mom gave me you. I can talk to you. Nobody else around here listens to me anymore. They think I'm nuts.
Hey, you, Britt.
Oh, there's Hank. Mustn't let him know that I'm not as tough as any cat man. Yeah? What do you want?
I've been looking for you.
Yeah, well, here I am.
Hey, look, Britt, get this straight. I ain't satisfied with your work. As long as I'm head trainer around here, these cages are going to be kept clean, you understand?
I'm doing the best I can, Hank.
If you can't do better, I'll get somebody who can. Trouble with you is you got no guts.
I had enough guts to be the best cat man in the business once. You ought to know that. You were my assistant.
Yeah, but I'm the head man now. Understand?
Yeah, sure.
I'd have got there even if Satan hadn't clawed you. Understand?
Look, Hank, I'm not looking for an argument.
You're not looking for an argument. That's a hot one. You're just a flunky around here. Don't forget that. When I tell you I want those cages cleaned out better, I mean it. People pay good money to see me work Satan, and I want everything just right. You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, then get to work. I want everything just right.
Hey, Hank, just a minute, will you?
Yeah? What is it?
How's Marla?
It's none of your business. She's my gal now.
Did you hear him, Imp? Did you hear him? I got a sweet cleaner, he says. People pay good money to see him work Satan, he says. He says that to me that used to be the best cat man in the business. Now I'm pushing a broom. Yeah. I know you love me, Imp. Even though I'm just a has-been. I used to be the big attraction of this show. Now it's Hank. I used to work Satan. Now it's Hank. Marla used to be my gal. Now she's Hank's. My bad luck was certainly good luck for him, wasn't it, Imp? Oh, well. Might as well sweep out good under Satan's cage. Like Hank wants me to do. Ouch. Scratch myself, Imp. Scratch myself on those little shreds of copper wire sticking out at the bottom of Satan's cage. Say, what are these wires doing here anyway? There are two little holes drilled here in the floor. There must have been electric wires in them. Here are scraps of insulation on the wood. Now, why would anybody put electric wires through the floor of Satan's cage?
I tell you, Marla, there's nothing to worry about.
And I tell you, I don't like Britt hanging around the show. He might figure things out.
He'll never find out, baby. You and I are the only ones who know. It's a cinch I'm not going to say anything about it. And you aren't either. Are you, Marla? Well, are you?
Hank, you're hurting my arm.
Answer me, you're not going to go soft and blab, are you?
How can I? Even if I wanted to, I was in it from the beginning, wasn't I?
Yeah. Better.
Still...
What are you afraid of?
I don't know.
Even if Britt should find out, what can he do about it?
Well, he might kill you.
Don't make me laugh. He's all bunged up. He's hardly got enough strength to push that broom around. It's all he's fit for now, that and talking out loud to his alley cat.
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
He might use a gun. He's strong enough to pull a trigger, you know.
What are you trying to do, scare me?
No, but...
I told you 100 times there's nothing to worry about. He ain't even got enough spirit left to use a gun. Yeah, you should have heard the way I bawled him out this morning. He took it like a broken-down bum.
You wouldn't have talked to him like that before when he was the #1 cat man of the show.
Hey, you ain't still stuck on him, are you?
Me? Stuck on Britt? Hank, would I have done what I did if I was?
Why did you do it? Why did you help me plan this job?
You know why. I was engaged to Britt. And then I I fell for you. You know he wouldn't give me up unless something happened to him.
So we saw to it that something happened, okay. So what are you beefing about?
I still say he might find out.
I still say he won't, and even if he does, what can he do about it?
He might go to the cops.
He couldn't prove anything. It'd be his word against ours. Who believe a guy like him? Guy that's half nuts.
Yes, sir, Imp. There were electric wires stuck into the floor of Satan's cage. And they're right where the iron grid in front of the inner cage is. Yes, sir. The grid Satan has to step on when he makes his entrance into the big cage for the beginning of the act. Electric wires and an iron grid. That could add up to something, couldn't it, Imp? By Godfrey, it does. Now I see it. The iron grid was charged with electricity. Satan stepped on the grid and got a shock. It was planned. Now, who would have wanted me to get hurt? Who do you think, Imp? You're right. It was Hank. Remember I said my bad luck was certainly his good luck? He put those wires there. He made Satan go amok. He did it. And he got my job and my gal. Why can't I do the same thing to him, huh? Why? Quiet, Imp. The night watchman mustn't see us. Here's an AC outlet, Imp. Now we just screw this socket in and take these wires to Satan's cage. And connect these wires to the iron bars of Satan's cage. There. That's got it. Now we go back to the socket and we wait. The current has been pulled down so it won't hurt Satan. It'll just scare him when he rubs against the bars of the cage. Now we turn the juice on. Tonight, Imp, we try something a little different. Tonight, we try 2 wires tied to a stick and attached to a storage battery. It's called a hot shot, see? Here we are at Satan's cage. So you're nervous, huh, Satan? That's good, Satan, that's good. You don't like my electric treatment, huh? Why, you big sissy, it doesn't hurt you. It only shocks you. But you don't like it, huh? Well, see how you like this. Look at him, Imp. Look at Satan. He's more nervous than ever. He knows what we did to him the day before yesterday. He's afraid of us. Look at him cringing. He's sulking to the back of the cage. Well, this time, Satan, I've got a little surprise for you. This time you won't be shocked by electricity. You see this little black stick? You don't know there isn't any current in it, do you? You think it'll burn you like the other sticks I've shoved through these bars, huh? Okay. Now let's see what just a plain little wooden stick will do. Satan, here it comes at you. We've got him where we want him, Imp. And it took less than a week to do. I can make Satan go berserk any time I want to. All I've got to do is point this little black stick at him. No law against holding a little black stick in my hand when Hank does his act, is there? Is there, Imp? Now we're ready to pay off a debt.
Tiger trainer named Britt was badly mauled by Satan, the tiger in his act. While in the hospital, he acquired an ordinary alley cat, which he called Imp, and to whom he talks as though it were a human being. When Britt left the hospital, he found that Hank, his former assistant, was now head trainer and engaged to Marla, who had always been Britt's girl. So, Britt, the Catman, was forced to become a carnival handyman. Then he found evidence that Hank had tricked Satan into attacking him by attaching electric wires to an iron grid in Satan's show cage, so that when Satan stepped on it, the shock drove him berserk. Secretly, at night, Britt has experimented with Satan, using long sticks charged with electricity until he is able to drive the tiger into a killing fury just by pointing a little black stick at him. Now, Britt is ready to deal with Hank.
Hurry, hurry, hurry! The big show is about to begin. See the show everybody enjoys. It's the talk of the Midway. See the most ferocious jungle animals ever captured by man. See them perform astounding tricks. Come this way for the big show. See Satan, the most ferocious man-eating tiger in captivity. See leopards and panthers and lions and
Yes, sir, Imp. The big show is about to begin. It's about to begin the last performance of Hank as a Catman. Now is the time to pay him back for what he did to me. Now, while Satan is nervous and mean. All I have to do is point this little stick at him, and he goes nuts. Oh, what a surprise Hank is going to get. You know what I mean, Imp? You and I are the only ones who know. Maybe we ought to let somebody else in on the secret. Maybe we ought to let Marla know about it and watch her eat her heart out because there's nothing she can do to stop me. No, that wouldn't do. She might be able to warn Hank. No, I've got a better idea. Let's go find Marla. I've got an idea that maybe she might have known all about this.
Hank, you gotta listen to me. I'm telling you.
You're always telling me something. If it ain't one thing, it's another, and I'm getting sick of it, Marla. Fed up, you understand?
But, Hank...
Shut up! I have to slap you to make you understand I want any more talk out of you?
No.
All right, then keep quiet.
But it's important.
What's important?
What I was gonna tell you.
All right. Spill it. What is it this time?
Hank, I don't like the way Satan's been acting lately.
Hey, look, Marla, why don't you take care of your business? Let me take care of mine.
But that cat's dangerous.
Ah, nuts.
Britt used to be able to tell about those things. He could sense when a cat was in an ugly mood.
Yeah, well, if he's so smart, why did you leave him?
You know why. Because I fell for you, Hank.
Yeah,
But I tell you, he could feel when a cat was ready to act up.
You're trying to say that he was a better cat man than me?
No.
If he was so darn smart, if he could tell when a cat was ready to run amok, why didn't he know it before Satan clawed him up?
You know the answer to that. You know there was nothing wrong with Satan. It was what you and I did that made him go berserk all of a sudden. You know that.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Of course I'm right. And I tell you, Satan's been acting funny the last few days.
You noticed it too, huh, baby?
Sure. He acts kind of nervous and edgy.
Yeah, he's been pretty hard at work in the act, but what do you expect me to do about it?
Stop working with him for a few days, Hank.
Hey, look, baby, you know as well as I do, if I let that cat worry me, he'll know it. Animals are smart that way, they can tell.
Yeah, I know.
You know, if he ever gets the idea I'm just a little bit afraid of him, he'll take advantage of it and really get dangerous. Now, if I stop working him a few days, he'll get even tougher than he is now.
Then what are you going to do?
Gonna do my act same as always. Hey, it's almost time for me to begin. Come with me?
Not this time, Hank. I think I'll take a little walk. Maybe the exercise will do me some good.
Hello, Marla.
Oh, what do you want?
Just a little talk with you. We haven't had a talk since you walked out on me.
Look, I can't talk to you. Hank won't like it.
Hank isn't here.
Yes, but he...
No, Hank isn't here. He's in the cage with Satan.
Has anything happened?
Happened? What can happen to a wonderful cat man like Hank, huh?
Well, I don't know. Satan's been kind of nervous lately.
Oh, so you've spotted that too, huh? Well, Imp, what do you know about that, huh?
Britt, what's the matter with Satan?
How should I know? I'm not a cat man anymore. I'm just a broken-down flunky.
Britt, you know something you're not telling me.
Don't you know something you aren't telling me, Marla?
What do you mean?
Suppose you tell me.
Look, I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't you? come with me, Marla.
Well, where are we going?
To Satan's cage.
Well, I'm not going with you. I'm going back to Hank. He's probably resting now.
He may be taking a long rest soon.
Cut it out, Britt. Quit trying to get on my nerves. Say what you've got to say and get it over with.
Don't rush me, Marla. I'll speak when I'm ready. Well, here's Satan's cage. Look at him, Marla. He's quite a tiger.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed things about cats? Take Imp here, for instance. He's a little fella, but he has claws. They're sharp, too. Look, when I unsheathe them.
Ow! Ouch, you made him scratch me.
Yeah, they draw blood, don't they?
What's the big idea?
Now take Satan there. His claws are just as sharp and hooked. Only they're longer, much longer. When he sinks them into a person's flesh, he doesn't just scratch the skin. He digs right down to the bone.
All right, so what?
So he can cripple or kill a man in the cage with him. I know.
Oh, Britt, I'm sorry he got you.
That's very considerate of you, Marla. You'd be sorry if he got Hank, too, wouldn't you?
Britt, please.
Because I can make him do it. Just watch what happens when I point this little black stick at him.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
No.
I can make him do that any time I want to. Want to see me do it again?
No, please.
I can make him go berserk like that when Hank's in the cage with him.
Britt, what do you want from me?
From you, Marla? I want a written confession.
A confession?
Yeah, you see. I know all about the electric wires that connected with the iron grid in Satan's cage.
Electric wires? I don't know what you're talking about, Britt.
Don't you? That's too bad. Because some one of these days when Hank's doing his act with Satan, I'm liable to poke my little black stick into the cage.
No, you mustn't do it.
You know what'll happen to Hank then, don't you?
Britt, you mustn't.
How about that confession?
I didn't have anything to do with it. You gotta believe me, Britt.
I believed in you once, Marla. And what did it get me? No, I don't believe you. Because I know Hank's too dumb to have figured out that electricity trick by himself.
All right, Britt. You win. I'll write the confession. Hank.
Hiya, Marla. How was the war?
Hank, listen to me. I gotta tell you something.
Save it. If there's anything I can't stand, it's a woman who's always shooting off her mouth. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, I know.
And just remember one thing, baby. Keep your mouth shut because you're in it just as deep as I am. You understand?
I understand.
Okay, then keep your big trap shut and don't go threatening to blab if I decide to take a run-out powder on you.
I won't.
All right, that's better.
But you'll never run out on me because he knows all about it.
What are you talking about? Who knows all about what?
Britt. He knows about what we did to him.
Who told him?
He figured it out for himself, I guess.
I told you before, that doesn't mean anything. He can't prove a thing.
Yes, he can. I wrote a confession.
You wrote... Where is it? Give it to me.
I haven't got it.
Tell me where it is, so help
Britt's
me.
got it.
Why, you two-timing little...
Please, Hank. Please don't hit me again. I wrote that confession to save your life. Britt showed me how he can make Satan go berserk any time just by pointing a little black stick at him.
What?
Yeah. All he's got to do is poke a little wooden stick through the bars and Cat goes wild. Britt threatened to do it sometime when you're working your act. If I didn't write that confession.
I tried to kill Britt once before, but Satan didn't do a good job. Next time, I'm not taking any chances. Next time, I'm going to do it myself.
Hey, Hank.
Yeah?
The boss sent me to get you.
What for?
You're late for your act.
Oh, yeah, my act.
Hey, what's the matter? You look upset about something.
Nothing, something I got to do. Take care of it after my act. Hey, do me a little favor, will you?
Well, sure, Hank. What is it?
Keep that Brit away from Satan's cage while I'm doing my act, will you?
Okay, Hank, it's in the bag.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most sensational wild animal performances of the century. Presenting the daring king of the catmen, Hank Chandler, and the ferocious tiger, Satan.
Why, he must be awfully brave.
That sure is a big tiger.
The trainer is in the cage now.
Oh, he looks mean, doesn't he? I wouldn't want to be in there.
Yes, Imp. I saved Hank's life. I was nervous about something when he went into the cage. Satan sensed it and he went on a rampage. Well, Hank's pretty badly mauled. But he'll live to go to jail. And that's where Marla's going, too. I've given the confession to the cops. Hank and Marla belong behind bars. Yeah, and I belong behind bars, too. The bars of Satan's cage. You know, the boss gave me back my old job. I'm a catman again, Imp. I'm a catman again.
From shadows and stillness, mystery weaves a spell of strangest fascination, charging the mind with doubts and fears. For mystery is a strange companion, a living memory in the haunting hour.
Watchwaddle Radio Repairman. Thanks for watching the Bah Ghoulie Show by OTR Halloween Holidays. This is Waddle the Duck saying check out channel Watchwaddle for some fun cartoons with no static.
Ah!